Hello viewers, this na Gross Leon. Today I dey share a video of wetin happen exactly on the 13th of July wey dem attempt for kill the former president of America, Donald Trump. But this video dey show say dem allege say na the Jewish family from Israel na dem wan kill the former president. Please watch the video and share am. Comment if na your first time for watch the video. Thank you.
It's not every day that someone tries to assassinate a former US president, talk more of a Jewish family. But that's exactly what happened to Donald Trump. And who can blame them? After all, he was once referred to as America's Hitler. And that's not even the worst thing that has been said about him. The shooter has been confirmed to have some sort of Jewish background, and that just adds fire to the smoke. The question that remains still, was this a politically motivated act, or is there something else at play here? The failed assassination. On July 13, 2024, former US President Donald Trump narrowly escaped an assassination attempt at a rally in Pennsylvania. On that said day, he was addressing a packed rally before chaos suddenly erupted. A gunshot rang out, and Trump instinctively moved his head, narrowly avoiding a fatal bullet. The projectile grazed his ear, causing a minor injury but sparing his life. He was later treated by medical professionals and deemed to be in stable condition. Despite the close call, Trump remained resolute, vowing to continue with his scheduled appearances. Law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and Secret Service, immediately launched an investigation into the attack. The shooter, identified as 20-year-old Thomas Crooks from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, was shot and killed by Secret Service agents at the scene. An AR-style rifle was found near his body, legally purchased and registered to his father. Bomb materials were also discovered in his home and car, raising concerns about the potential for further violence. Federal law enforcement agencies immediately classified the incident as an assassination attempt. The attack resulted in 1 death and 3 injuries, including Trump himself. Authorities swiftly moved to secure the area, conducting thorough searches and questioning witnesses. News of the assassination attempt spread like wildfire. Within minutes, social media platforms were flooded with posts, videos, and live streams from the rally. Supporters expressed relief that Trump had survived, while critics questioned the security measures in place at the event. As the dust settled, conspiracy theories began to emerge as well. Many netizens pointed out the perfect execution of the attack, suggesting it was too well coordinated to be a lone act. Some highlighted Crooks' Jewish heritage, speculating about a deeper, more sinister plot. Theories ranged from political motivations to claims that the attack was staged to garner sympathy for Trump ahead of the upcoming election. The FBI launched an immediate investigation, and within hours, details about Crooks' background began to surface. Reports indicated that he had a troubled past, marked by loneliness and bullying during his school years. However, it was his alleged connections to Jewish organizations that fueled the most sensational theories. Was Crooks acting alone, or was he a pawn in a larger conspiracy? As the FBI delved deeper into the investigation, more details about Thomas Matthew Crooks began to emerge. However, it was the discovery of a manifesto in Crooks' car that truly set the conspiracy theories ablaze. The manifesto contained references to various Jewish organizations and individuals, leading some to speculate about a possible Jewish connection to the assassination attempt. Crooks mentioned feeling betrayed by political figures and hinted at a larger orchestrated plan. This document became a focal point for those eager to find a deeper meaning behind the attack. Investigators also uncovered links between Crooks and several fringe groups. While none of these groups were explicitly Jewish, the presence of Jewish names and organizations in his writings fueled the narrative that there might be a hidden agenda. Some conspiracy theorists suggested that Crooks was a pawn in a larger scheme, possibly manipulated by powerful Jewish interests to create political chaos. Adding to the intrigue were reports of Crooks' recent travels. He had visited several countries in the months leading up to the attack, including Israel. This fact was seized upon by conspiracy theorists, who saw it as further evidence of a Jewish connection. They speculated that Crooks had been recruited during his travels, and that the assassination attempt was part of a larger, coordinated effort. Statements from prominent Jewish figures highlighted the dangers of scapegoating and the need for unity in the face of such divisive events. The Anti-Defamation League, ADL, reported an increase in anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and calls for violent retaliation. Figures like John Minadeo and Stu Peters suggested that Jewish groups and Israeli intelligence were behind the attack. The ADL's Center on Extremism found that Crooks had made a donation to a Democratic PAC in 2021, but registered as a Republican later that year. One of the most vocal figures was John Minadeo, founder of the Goyim Defense League. Minadeo hosted a session on X, formerly known as Twitter, titled "Jews Try to Assassinate Trump." His baseless claims quickly gained traction among his followers. Conspiracy theorist Stu Peters also suggested without evidence that Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency, was involved in the attack. Anti-Zionist activist Sulaiman Ahmed also weighed in on the situation. Ahmed took to X to share his opinion, writing, "Israel shot Trump to install Nikki Haley." This statement suggested that Israel had orchestrated the assassination attempt to replace Trump with a candidate more favorable to their interests. Ahmed's post garnered significant attention, with many users either supporting or vehemently opposing his viewpoint. Fringe groups and online forums buzzed with speculation about the Jewish link to the assassination attempt. Some extremist groups used the incident to propagate anti-Semitic narratives, claiming that the attack was part of a larger Jewish plot to control global politics. These dangerous and unfounded theories found an audience among those already predisposed to such beliefs, further stoking the fires of division and hatred. In the midst of this media frenzy, various groups sought to leverage the event for their own purposes. Political operatives used the assassination attempt to stir their supporters and discredit their opponents. Advocacy groups highlighted the need for policy changes, whether in terms of gun control, mental health support, or security measures at public events. The assassination attempt became an important point for broader societal debates, reflecting the complex interplay of politics, media, and public opinion in this time and age. The public's reaction to Trump's assassination attempt was immediate and intense. The initial reactions were a mix of disbelief, fear, and outrage. Social media platforms were flooded with messages of shock, disbelief, and concern for Trump's well-being. Supporters and detractors alike expressed their views, with some calling for calm and others demanding swift justice. The spread of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories following the assassination attempt on Donald Trump has done nothing to help this scary situation. The Jewish community, already facing a rise in anti-Semitism worldwide, found itself at the center of a dangerous and unfounded narrative. Jonathan Greenblatt, CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, has been vocal about the alarming rise in anti-Semitism. He emphasized the need for unity and vigilance in combating hate speech and misinformation. Greenblatt's message resonated with many, but the challenge remains immense. Jewish community leaders and activists have been working tirelessly to counteract the spread of hate. They have organized rallies, educational programs, and social media campaigns to raise awareness and promote tolerance. Their efforts aim to build bridges and foster understanding in a time of division. Political allies of Trump were quick to condemn the attack. Senator Lindsey Graham, a loyal supporter, stated, "Thank God President Trump seems to be okay. Just another reminder of the times in which we live." House Speaker Mike Johnson also thanked law enforcement and offered his prayers. "This horrific act of political violence at a peaceful campaign rally has no place in this country and should be unanimously and forcefully condemned," Johnson tweeted. Attorney General Merrick Garland had this to say in a statement, "My heart is with the former president, those injured, and the family of the spectator killed in this horrific attack. The Justice Department will bring every available resource to bear to this investigation." Secretary of State Antony Blinken said he was shocked and saddened by the shooting. In an X post, he called on Americans to condemn such violence. President Joe Biden's response to the attack was a call for unity. In his primetime address, he emphasized the need for civil debate and condemned all forms of violence. Biden's message was clear. America must resolve its differences at the ballot box, not through acts of violence. All of these events are happening because of one person's attempt to murder a former US president. Who is this person and what was his reason? Although the FBI maintained that there was no concrete evidence linking Crooks to any organized Jewish conspiracy, how true is that? The assassinator. Thomas Matthew Crooks was born and raised in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. His early years were marked by academic achievements and a seemingly ordinary suburban life. He graduated from Bethel Park High School in 2022, where he was recognized for his excellence in math and science, even receiving a $500 Star Award from the National Math and Science Initiative. A video from his graduation ceremony shows a young man with glasses, dressed in a black graduation gown, receiving his diploma to a modest round of applause. Despite his academic accolades, Crooks's high school experience was far from perfect. Former classmates describe him as a loner, often sitting alone at lunch and being bullied for his choice of clothing, which frequently included hunting outfits. After high school, Crooks found employment as a dietary aide at a local nursing home. His colleagues described him as quiet and reserved, someone who kept to himself and performed his duties without drawing much attention. Yet beneath this unassuming exterior, there were signs of a complex and troubled individual. State voter records reveal that Crooks was a registered Republican, and the upcoming November 5th election would have been his first opportunity to vote in a presidential race. However, an intriguing detail emerged from a 2021 Federal Election Commission filing. At the age of 17, Crooks made a $15 donation to Act Blue, a political action committee that raises funds for left-leaning and Democratic politicians. The donation was earmarked for the Progressive Turnout Project, a national group focused on rallying Democrats to vote. Crooks was also a member of the Clairton Sportsman's Club in Pennsylvania's Allegheny County, known for its rifle and pistol ranges. He had been a member for at least a year, honing his skills with firearms. The club, through its attorney Robert S. Boutte III, condemned the shooting, distancing themselves from Crooks's actions. A video that surfaced on the California-based entertainment news website TMZ shows Crooks wearing a brown shirt identified as merchandise from the YouTube channel Demolition Ranch. The channel, run by Matt Carricker, features content about firearms. Carricker quickly clarified that he had never spoken with Crooks and condemned the shooting, urging the public not to affiliate Crooks with his channel. Another question making the rounds is Crooks's motive behind the attempt. The FBI's investigation into Crooks's motives is ongoing. They're examining photographs and running DNA and biometric confirmation to piece together the puzzle. While Crooks was not known to the FBI prior to the incident, the discovery of explosives in his vehicle has added a chilling dimension to the case. Dozens of law enforcement vehicles have been stationed outside Crooks's residence, with agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives on the scene. A bomb squad has also been deployed, and the Federal Aviation Administration has closed the airspace over Bethel Park for special security reasons. One of the immediate impacts of Crooks' actions was on national security policies. The Secret Service, responsible for protecting current and former presidents, came under intense scrutiny. Questions were raised about how the assailant managed to get so close to Trump and what measures could be implemented to prevent similar incidents. The security implications of this incident are profound. The fact that the shooter was able to get so close to Trump despite being flagged earlier raises serious questions about the effectiveness of the security measures in place. There are calls for a thorough investigation into how the shooter was able to bypass security and what measures can be implemented to prevent such lapses in the future. The assassination attempt has also highlighted the vulnerabilities in the security protocols at political events. The use of magnetometers and perimeter checks is standard practice, but this incident has shown that these measures are not foolproof. The ability of the shooter to climb onto a roof undetected suggests a need for more comprehensive security strategies, including better surveillance and quicker response times. The agency quickly announced a comprehensive review of its protocols, promising to enhance security measures for high-profile individuals. This included increased surveillance, more rigorous background checks for event attendees, and the deployment of advanced technology to detect potential threats. In response to this incident, one can expect a comprehensive review and overhaul of security protocols at political events. This may include more stringent background checks for attendees, enhanced surveillance measures, and quicker response times for security personnel. The use of advanced technology, such as drones and facial recognition software, may also become more prevalent in monitoring and identifying potential threats in real time. Additionally, there may be a push for increased coordination between federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies to ensure a more unified and effective security strategy. The FBI and Secret Service combed through Crooks' social media, postings and emails, searching for any clues that might reveal his motive. So far, they found nothing threatening or indicative of a planned attack. Investigators also analyzed his cell phone, which was sent to the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia, for further examination. Despite the thorough investigation, law enforcement officials were unable to identify any foreign terrorism ties or connections to extremist groups. Crooks was not on the radar of law enforcement prior to the assassination attempt, and there were no known warning signs that could have predicted his actions. The lack of a clear motive left many questions unanswered, but some things remain clear. The assassination attempt on Donald Trump has had far-reaching implications, both politically and socially. The immediate political fallout was significant. Trump's supporters rallied around him, using the incident to push their narrative of a leader under siege. The former president himself wasted no time in addressing the public, framing the attack as an assault on American values and democracy. The political discourse in the United United States was profoundly affected by the attempted assassination. The event became a focal point for debates about the state of American politics and the role of rhetoric in inciting violence. Trump's supporters argued that the attack was a direct result of the hostile environment created by his political opponents. They pointed to the numerous threats and acts of violence against Trump and his allies over the years, arguing that the mainstream media and political adversaries bore some responsibility for the toxic climate. Conversely, Trump's critics contended that his own divisive rhetoric had contributed to an atmosphere of hostility and violence. They pointed to his inflammatory speeches, tweets, and public statements, arguing that he had often encouraged aggression against his opponents. This debate played out across media platforms, with commentators from both sides weighing in on the issue. In the halls of Congress, such an event would become a hot-button issue. Lawmakers from both parties would likely condemn the act of violence, but the incident could also spark a debate about the measures needed to prevent such events in the future. Some might call for stricter gun control laws, arguing that easy access to firearms is a significant factor in the rise of political violence. Others could push for enhanced security protocols for public officials. Including more funding for the Secret Service and other protective agencies. The political landscape would never be the same again. The implications of such a shocking incident would set the stage for a series of debates and discussions that could shape the future of American politics for years to come. Trump's political future. The immediate reactions from Trump's supporters were nothing short of emotional. Social media was flooded with messages of relief, gratitude, and unwavering belief that Trump had been protected by a higher power. "God protected President Trump yesterday," tweeted House Speaker Mike Johnson. He went on to compare the shooting to George Washington's miraculous survival after a gunfire ambush, suggesting that divine providence had once again intervened to save a leader destined for greatness. Steve Bannon, a key figure in Trump's inner circle, echoed this sentiment. "Trump wears the armor of God," Bannon declared on his show, emphasizing that no earthly force could harm the former president as long as he had divine protection. This idea of Trump being shielded by a higher power resonated deeply with his base, particularly among the Christian right. Evangelical minister Franklin Graham took to Fox News to share his thoughts. "God's hand of protection was on Trump," Graham stated. He argued that the former president's survival was a clear sign of divine favor, a belief that was quickly embraced by many within the evangelical community. Governor Greg Abbott of Texas also weighed in, tweeting that Trump is truly blessed. Abbott's words struck a chord, but they also raised questions. Someone might wonder why God chose to protect Trump while allowing tragedies like the Uvalde school shooting to occur in Abbott's own state. To the Christian right, the answer was clear. Trump had a special purpose, a divine mission that set him apart. For many of Trump's supporters, this incident only reinforced their belief that he was a man chosen by God. At rallies and gatherings, prayers for Trump's safety and success became even more fervent. The narrative of Trump as a modern-day Cyrus, a biblical figure sent to restore a Christian America, gained even more traction. In a video released after the attempt on Trump's life, Wall now quoted Chuck Pierce, a popular author and self-proclaimed apostle, saying, "Lord, we decree that he will have an ear to hear in every key situation what the Spirit is saying." This decree was seen as a divine mandate, further solidifying the belief that Trump was under God's protection. The assassination attempt also had a profound impact on Trump's public image. For many, he was no longer just a former president seeking re-election. He was a survivor, a fighter who had faced down an existential threat. The economic implications of the attempted assassination of Donald Trump were as dramatic as the event itself. In the immediate aftermath, the stock market reacted with an urgency that mirrored the public's emotional response. Trump Media and Technology Group, the company behind the Truth Social platform, experienced an unprecedented surge in its stock price. On Monday, just days after the assassination attempt, the company's stock price soared by 32%, reversing a 6-week slump and adding about $1.9 billion to its market value. This surge was not just a financial anomaly, it was a clear indicator of the renewed confidence in Trump's re-election prospects. The company's stock, which trades under the ticker symbol DJT, the same as Trump's initials, had always been a barometer of his political fortunes. The dramatic increase in the stock price was a testament to the belief among investors and the public that the assassination attempt had bolstered Trump's chances of winning the election. The financial windfall extended to Trump personally. As the largest shareholder of Trump Media with 114 million shares, Trump's stake in the company ballooned by $1.2 billion, putting his total stake at $4.7 billion. This significant increase in wealth further solidified his position as a formidable candidate, providing additional resources to fuel his campaign. The surge in Trump Media's stock price also highlighted the unique nature of the company. Often referred to as a meme stock, Trump Media's value is heavily influenced influenced by social media enthusiasm rather than traditional business fundamentals like profit and revenue growth. The assassination attempt acted as a catalyst, creating a wave of social media activity that drove the stock price higher. On platforms like Truth Social, groups focused on DJT shares buzzed with speculation and optimism. Members urged each other to hold on to their shares, predicting that the stock would continue to rise as Trump's re-election odds improved. The phenomenon of the short squeeze also played a role in the stock's meteoric rise. Investors who had bet against Trump media's stock, expecting it to fall, were caught off guard by the sudden surge. As the stock price climbed, these short sellers were forced to buy shares to cover their positions, further driving up the price. This created a feedback loop of buying pressure that amplified the stock's gains. The economic implications of the assassination attempt extended beyond Trump media. The broader financial markets took notice, with many investors adjusting their expectations for the upcoming election. The Economist prediction model, which had previously given Trump a 50-50 chance of winning, now projected a 3-4 chance of victory. Trump supporters, known for their complete loyalty, were quick to organize rallies and events across the country. In cities like Miami, Phoenix, and Atlanta, thousands of Trump supporters gathered, waving flags and holding signs that read, "We stand with Trump" and "Trump 2024." The atmosphere at these rallies was charged with emotion as supporters expressed their relief that Trump was unharmed and their determination to stand by him. Speaking of high-profile endorsements for Donald Trump, among the most notable endorsements were those from billionaires Bill Ackman and Elon Musk. Bill Ackman, the CEO of Pershing Square Capital Management, was one of the first to publicly endorse Trump following the attack. Ackman took to social media to express his support, a move that quickly went viral, garnering over 19 million views. In his post, Ackman stated, "I came to this decision some time ago, as many X followers have already understood from my supportive posts of Trump and my criticisms of POTUS Biden." He emphasized the importance of standing up and being counted, especially in light of recent events. Ackman suggested that the upcoming presidential election is one of the most consequential in his lifetime, and urged voters to keep an open mind. Hot on the heels of Ackman's endorsement, another influential figure, Elon Musk, publicly declared his full support for Trump. Known for his powerful presence on social media, Musk's endorsement added significant weight to the conversation. Musk's post was direct and unequivocal. He expressed his full support for Trump, stating that he had come to this decision after careful consideration. Musk's endorsement was seen as a call to action for his millions of followers, urging them to consider Trump's leadership in the upcoming election. The failed assassination attempt has also brought to the forefront the issue of political violence in the United States. The country has a long history of political violence, from the assassination of President John F. Kennedy to the attempted assassination of President Ronald Reagan. It almost seems like a repeat of history. On January 13, 1835, Andrew Jackson became the first U.S. president to face an assassination attempt. The scene was the east portico of the Capitol, just after Jackson had attended a funeral held in the House of Representatives chamber. Richard Lawrence, an unemployed house painter, approached Jackson and aimed a pistol at him. In a twist of fate that seems almost too incredible to believe, the pistol misfired. Undeterred, Lawrence pulled out a second pistol and fired again, only for this weapon to misfire as well. Jackson, known for his fiery temper, reportedly attacked Lawrence with his cane before the would-be assassin was subdued by bystanders. Lawrence was later found to be insane and was institutionalized for the rest of his life. Fast forward 30 years to the night of April 14, 1865, at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., President Abraham Lincoln, having just led the nation through the Civil War, was attending a performance of Our American Cousin. John Wilkes Booth, a famous actor and Confederate sympathizer, saw this as his moment to strike. Booth slipped into the presidential box and shot Lincoln in the back of the head. He then leapt onto the stage, breaking his leg in the process, and escaped into the night. Despite a massive manhunt, Booth managed to evade capture for 12 days before being cornered and killed. Lincoln's death was a devastating blow to a nation already weary from years of conflict. His assassination marked the first successful killing of a sitting U.S. president and set a grim precedent for the future. The next president to fall victim was James A. Garfield. On July 2, 1881, Garfield was at the Baltimore and Potomac Railroad Station in Washington, D.C., when Charles J. Guiteau, a disgruntled office seeker, approached him. Guiteau fired 2 shots at Garfield, one grazing his arm and the other lodging in his back. Garfield survived the initial attack, but succumbed to his injuries on September 19, 1881. The most infamous assassination in modern American history is undoubtedly that of John F. Kennedy. On November 22, 1963, Kennedy was riding in a motorcade through Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas. As the motorcade passed the Texas School Book Depository, shots rang out. Lee Harvey Oswald, a former Marine with a troubled past, fired the fatal shots that struck Kennedy in the head and neck. Kennedy was rushed to Parkland Memorial Hospital, but was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. Oswald was arrested but was killed by nightclub owner Jack Ruby before he could stand trial. The assassination of JFK was a national tragedy that left the country in a state of shock and mourning. It also sparked countless conspiracy theories and investigations, some of which continue to this day. One of the most notable assassination attempts in modern times occurred on March 13, 1981. President Ronald Reagan was leaving the Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C. after giving a speech when John Hinckley Jr. opened fire. Hinckley, obsessed with actress Jodie Foster and seeking to impress her, fired 6 shots in rapid succession. One of the bullets ricocheted off the presidential limousine and struck Reagan in the chest, puncturing a lung and narrowly missing his heart. Despite the severity of his injuries, Reagan was rushed to George Washington University Hospital, where he underwent emergency surgery and made a full recovery. Hinckley was found not guilty by reason of insanity and was confined to a mental institution. Reagan's near-death experience had a profound impact on the nation and led to significant changes in presidential security protocols. These stories are constant reminders of the ever-present dangers faced by those who hold the highest office in the United States, irrespective of the many security available to them. Click on the cards showing on your screen to enjoy more.